Good afternoon. How often have we heard our executives, the past one and the current one, say that government's most fundamental and most important responsibility is to protect the public? New York is failing. We know the numbers. I'll repeat a few of them. We see the reoffense rate going on. You look at some numbers out of New York City, 50% of the people that are out on bail are rearrested for something. We see the district attorneys across the state dismissing hundreds, collectively thousands of cases because of the changes in the discovery laws. We see victims across the state, witnesses rather, afraid to come forward for fear for their own safety and their family's safety. These are the policies we've seen the last 2 years with one-party rule in Albany, clearly policies that we know now. We said then, but we know now, first, don't work, and clearly favor offenders over law-abiding citizens. The Assemblyman spoke of the victims. We often lose sight of the victims when we talk numbers. We hear the other side talk about making sure that people are treated fairly, which they should be, constitutionally, which they should be, but it should be on balance. And then we hear statistics about rearrests, and we talk about offenders. You hear very little except out of the people standing here and our own colleagues in our respective conferences about victims. But the victims are our families. They're the members of people in our community. I would venture to say that we've got a good percentage of people standing here, both legislators and law enforcement officers and other elected officials, whose family members have been their own victims, or somebody that they know. Their relatives, their neighbors. Some little child's bicycle is stolen. Well, let's just pass that off as a nonviolent offense. Who cares? The repeated larcenies from Duane Reade. Well, who cares? The repeated larcenies from the deli. Well, who cares? We care. They're taking people's property. They're robbing them of a good quality of life that we should be enjoying in New York State, and it is clearly wrong. Every time somebody offends, there is a matching victim. And the so-called victimless crimes have victims. All of us, the people of the state of New York, we should be doing something about it. We've been trying the last couple of years, standing up. We go back to these policies when we said they favored offenders over law-abiding citizens, And I'm sorry to say, we told you then, we're telling you now, we told you so. So what if we're right? We have to do something about it and reverse this course. We can do things about it. We can change the discovery laws. We can focus on the people that are in prison or that are being held, whether it's with bail or held for some other reason, and make adjustments so their cases are heard on a timely basis. We have to do something about bail. We're one of only less than a handful of states in the United States that does not consider public safety, does not consider dangerousness when an offender is arrested and brought before a judge and released on bail or not. That is the simple answer, is changing these laws. And it starts with bail, and we need to insert dangerousness of the individual along with this. It's a misnomer to say that dangerousness was never considered before. It was. Anytime a defendant that was held on bail or his attorney questioned whether or not bail should be set or the dollar amount, dangerousness of the individual was permitted to be discussed, and it was. It is government's job. Number one, remember these executives, Cuomo, Hochul, and I think all of my colleagues agree, have said that it is our most basic responsibility to keep our people safe. New York is failing. We can fix it. We changed the bail laws. Often they point to New Jersey and they say, hey, they have cashless bail over there and it's working. It's working for a whole bunch of reasons. Because they properly supervise people that are held, and more importantly, because they give judges the discretion to consider dangerousness, and they do it using a risk assessment instrument that is verified as being legitimate and valid, And something like that has worked across the country in all of these states and all of these places where our opponents want to hold up and say, hey, they got rid of cash bail. Well, there's a yeah, but. They're not doing it the way that New York is with the free pass and the relaxation of parole policies and the relaxation or the tightening down of discovery policies to affect all these prosecutions. We can change it. We have to start now or we'll have more and more victims. And if your family has not been victimized, it will be if we continue in this direction. So I'm very proud to stand with my colleagues. I'm very proud to stand with the other elected officials here today, and very proud to stand with law enforcement, who I know that all the people standing with me in our respective conferences support. This past week, we celebrated National Law Enforcement Day. My view, we should be doing that each and every day and thanking our law enforcement officials for standing up. For standing up despite the hurdles that New York State puts in their way. My colleagues will continue to stand up, and we call on our colleagues across the aisle to do the same, and our new governor to do the same for the sake of all New Yorkers. Thank you.